Today we're making these delicious soft pretzels, the classic buttery salted pretzel, a sweet cinnamon sugar pretzel, and a super easy cheesy pizza pretzel. One dough, 3 ways. This recipe makes 8 in total. Let's get started. To a bowl we need 1 cup of warm water. To the water we're going to add in 1 package of active dry yeast, which is about 2 1/4 teaspoons worth. Make sure your warm water is just that, warm. If it's too hot it's going to kill your yeast and we don't want that. To this we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of sugar. Give everything a quick mix and then we're going to let this sit off to the side for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of melted butter, 1 teaspoon of salt, and then we're going to gradually add in 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Once most of the dough is mixed together, we're going to knead it in the bowl until we have the remaining bits mixed in. At this point, you should be able to take the dough out of the bowl and knead it onto your work surface without it sticking to everything. We're going to knead it like this for about 5 minutes. Yes, you can do all of this in a stand mixer with a dough hook attachment. Just turn your stand mixer on low. You should start to also notice a texture change in your dough ball towards the end of the 5 minutes. It should feel smooth and not as stiff as it was when we first started. We're going to lightly grease a bowl. This is the same bowl I used to measure the flour in. No sense in dirtying another bowl. We're going to stick our dough ball in, cover it with a damp cloth or damp paper towel, and let it rest for 15 minutes. We're not looking for a rise, this is just merely to let the dough rest. While that's sitting off to the side, let's heat up 3 cups of water. To this, we're going to add in 3 tablespoons of baking soda. This will help create that chewy exterior we associate with soft pretzels. This is a very important step that really shouldn't be skipped. All we need to do is stir in that baking soda until it's fully dissolved and then take it off the heat. We're going to transfer this to a heat-safe bowl and carefully pour it in. We're eventually going to submerge our raw pretzels into this mixture, but it's way too hot for that right now, so we're going to set this off to the side until it's cool enough to touch. While that's cooling, let's get our baking sheet out and line it with either parchment paper or those silicone baking mats. Our dough is also ready to work with. We're going to take it out, flatten it slightly, and then we're going to cut it into 8 equal pieces. It kind of looks like Play-Doh. We're going to roll out each piece to about roughly 19 to 20 inches. We're then going to shape it into the classic pretzel shape, which I'm not very skilled at. I think the fancy pretzel companies do some sort of crazy flip in the air with their dough. I'll be lucky if mine even looks remotely close to a pretzel. Once you have the basic shape, we're going to carefully take it and dunk it into our warm baking soda water. Now we're not having a full spa day. These do not need to sit in here for very long. More like just a hot dip for around 10 to 15 seconds. Some recipes suggest all the way up to 2 minutes. That seems a bit much. All it really needs is a quick dip, nothing more. You might also need to reshape or adjust your pretzel once you get it out onto the baking sheet. And that's perfectly fine. I think I fixed just about every single one of mine. While they're still wet, now would be the perfect time to sprinkle on some coarse salt. It's better to do it now rather than after it's baked. This way the salt stays stuck to the pretzel and doesn't easily fall off like it would if you just buttered it after it was baked and then added on the salt. For the cheesy pizza pretzel, we're going to add on some pepperoni slices. You can either tear them up or leave them whole, it doesn't matter which way you want to go about it. Next goes on some shredded mozzarella cheese. You could add on salt to these as well. I decided not to just because I think the pepperoni is plenty salty for my tastes. But you can add it if you want. For the cinnamon sugar, we're going to leave those pretzels plain. We'll dress them up after we're done baking. Into a preheated oven at 450 degrees for 8 to 9 minutes depending on how golden brown you want your pretzels. I prefer mine on the lighter side, so I took mine out early. Okay, we're going to take off the pretzels reserved for the cinnamon sugar mixture. For the remaining pretzels, while they're still piping hot, we're going to brush them generously with melted butter. We're even going to brush the pizza pretzels because they deserve a warm butter bath too. For the cinnamon sugar pretzels, same thing, we're going to butter them up and then sprinkle on a heavy coating of the cinnamon sugar mixture. This is just half a cup of regular sugar and 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, which is definitely more than you'll need if you're only making 2 cinnamon sugar pretzels. I probably should have only used a 1/4 cup of sugar and a half tablespoon of cinnamon. However, if you're making all of your pretzels sweet, then this is probably the perfect amount to cover all 8 pretzels. Just look at that delicious pretzel. So soft, so fluffy. The perfect amount of buttery salty goodness expected from a pretzel. Here's an ingredients list. I also have this posted in the video's description box along with the directions. Also, as a side note, if you're having trouble shaping your dough into pretzels, you can instead turn them into pretzel bites. Just cut the dough rope into 1 to 2 inch pieces and continue with the rest of the instructions. Yes, you can freeze these fully baked for up to 3 months. To reheat, just pop them frozen in a preheated oven at 375 degrees for about 15 minutes. Let me know down below in the comments, out of these 3 flavors, which one would you want to try? Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to check out my dinner roll video. Absolutely the best dinner rolls you will ever make. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out, and I'll see you all in the next video.